Welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is Gashi's Kaman TV. Yesterday, we noted that Rigathi Gachagua, together with his wife, Pastor Dorcas, left the country through Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The fact that Rigathi Gachagua was leaving the country to go to the United States of America at a time when the political temperatures are very, very volatile, when the political temperatures are very, very high, when William Samuel Ruto is saying that there are some people who want to overthrow his government, is significant politically speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, in this video, I want us to look at the reason why Rigathi Gachagua left the country at a time like this. Number one, the government is planning to arrest opposition leaders. None other than Oscar Sudi, who is William Samuel Ruto's mouthpiece, told Kenyans that they are going for Rigathi Gachagua, that any time Rigathi Gachagua would be arrested. It is coming at a time when the government is actually crushing and cracking all the people who are associated with the opposition. We have seen members of parliament being arrested. Ukiona mwenzako akinyolewa paka chako maji. Waswahili wakasema. So Rigathi Gachagua could actually be escaping from arrest. The fact that I'm not sure whether he's going for 2 months. He's not going for 2 days. He's not going for 4 weeks. I think he's going for more than 1 month. And it could be 2 months if what we are getting is anything to go by. Number two, in my view, no, Rigathi Gachagua has been saying that there are some people in government who want him dead. And Rigathi Gachagua has always been talking about his assassination. There was a time I think he was going to Gataga, Moranga, and he had to maneuver his way and divert from actually using the route that he was supposed to use. And after that, he gave an interview that the Syrians were after his life. So Rigathi Gachagua could actually be going to exile. Rigathi Gachagua could be seeking asylum in the United States of America. Because when your life is in danger, I think it is only fair for you to leave the country. It's only fair for you to escape before the enemy strike. And what I know is that the government is so bitter with Rigathi Gachagua, and if they get a chance for him, I don't think they'll spare him. I think there was a time Rigathi Gachagua was saying that there were plans to inject him with lethal drugs or whatever, like what happened to Stanley Jido Matiba, and he would be turned into a cabbage. So this is what Rigathi Gachagua could be running away from. Number three reason, in my view, is because of mobilizing funds. Presidential elections are not that cheap. Presidential elections are costly. Presidential election will cost you a foot and a leg. That is why it is not easy for many people to mount a presidential campaign. The only two people who have known to mount actually a presidential campaign that look like a presidential campaign are Raila Amolo Odinga, William Samuel Ruto, and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. When you look at Wajakoya, when you look at Sifika Kalonzo Musyoka, when you look at Mudavadi, when you look at all these guys like Naorego, who have at one time attempted to vie for the presidency, you agree with me that the issue of funds is significant. So Rigathi Gachagua could actually be looking for donors. He'll be looking for people who are going to start with him. And maybe not even for him, but with other opposition leaders. And maybe he was sent by the opposition to go and maybe convince donors. Because when you look at the opposition is destined to make the next government. And any country would like actually to associate with Kenya. Any country would like to be in good books with Rigathi Gachagua. And when you look at William Samuel Ruto popularity is winning every day. So Rigathi Gachagua could actually have gone to mobilize for funds. Number three, Gachagua could actually be trying to make himself an international figure. Rigathi Gachagua could actually be trying to shed that description by UDA that he's a villager, that his politics are very local. Now, by having international networks, because you see, Rigathi Gachagua, the fact that he was a deputy president, the fact that he was in Moi's government, the fact that he was Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta's PM, it means that he can be able actually to get as many people as possible. And I'm sure many people or many organizations like VOA, BBC, Al Jazeera, and so on and so forth, maybe they'll be looking for him to interview him. And because of what is happening in the country, any media organization will be so happy actually to listen to Rigathi Gachagua narrative and even ask him hard questions. So Rigathi Gachagua maybe want to use this forum to expose the government of William Samoei Ruto, such that the international community can be able to know what is happening in our country. Because I believe the reason why he's going there is not to make William Samoei Ruto very popular. It's not to actually praise the government of William Samoei Ruto. It is to expose the government of William Samoei Ruto. The other reason is because, when you become so common, you lose your value. When you don't become available, when you become scarce, you increase your value. That is according to Robert Greene, the author of the 48 Rules of Power. So when you look at Rigathi Gachagua, his absence will be felt in the opposition. What do you think? How do you think the opposition is going to organize? Because when you look at the opposition, Rigathi Gachagua seems to be the nerve center. Now, how is opposition going to organize without Rigathi Gachagua? Maybe when he's scarce, then people will be able to know that this man is very popular. One of the major reasons why many people support Rigathi Gachagua is not that they want him to be the president. It's because he is the uniting factor in the opposition. It's because he'll be a kingmaker. It's because he brings so many votes to the candidate. I'm sure if Rigathi Gachagua was to be put here, Kalonzo would be put here, or Matiang'i would be put here, Rigathi Gachagua would not get the highest votes. That's the truth of the matter. He can only defeat William Samoei Ruto, but he cannot defeat Kalonzo, he cannot defeat Matiang'i, and many other candidates. So the fact that he's leaving the country is that he is going to be away for a number of days. And this one means that many people would miss him, by the way. Utamwambia nini akiwa kule? Nitamwambia tu ukifika kule, salimia makuzo kule na mashemeji. So ladies and gentlemen, the other reason is because when you look at Rigathi Gachagua is actually somebody who has been saying that there's something he knows. I don't know whether you have realized that Rigathi Gachagua would always tell Kenyans in the mother tongue, the direct translation is, I know of a secret. And I strongly believe that this secret maybe revolves around the government. Maybe when he go to the international forum, he's going to expose, he's going to release a bombshell that may be going to shake the government, a bombshell that is going to leave everyone talking. Because you see, the fact that he's getting an international forum, the fact that he has been saying with a lot of passion that it's something he knows, and only tells you that this is something, because he's very cautious. I've looked at his body language. I've listened at his tone when he's saying there's something I know. And he tells you it is something that is very, very sensitive. Maybe he wants to expose it to the international communities. And maybe he wants to use the international stage to make that bombshell. And that's why you see the government is very, very scared of Rigathi Gachagua. The other reason, in my view, when you look at Rigathi Gachagua deserves a break. Truth be told, he deserves a break. So he could be going for a well-deserved break. Sometimes you look at Rigathi Gachagua, he overworks. He doesn't rest. And when you look at Rigathi Gachagua, campaigning for the next 2 years, I think it will take somebody who is very, very strong. One, Gachagua is very strong, is very energetic. Rigathi Gachagua, when you look at him, he is also a mobilizer. Now, because of the way he has been overworking, maybe could be having fatigue. And when you look at Rigathi Gachagua, you agree with me, just like his mentor, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, he overworks like Moi. Moi would also overwork. He's everywhere. And now, when you look at that break, he went with his wife, Pastor Dorcas, and this one tells you it could be also be issues about family, it could also be issues about businesses, because Gachagua is a businessman. And because he's a businessman, he could be actually be going out for actually his business trip. And maybe it could be that personal. The other reason, in my view, when you look at Rigathi Gachagua, you agree with me. just like Uhuru Muigai, when you look at the relationship between Rigathi Gachagua and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, it is not something that is brought the members of the public. And Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is known to meet leaders who are very strategic, who are very, very influential outside the country. When he was the president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, not once, not twice, would meet some leaders outside the country and they would negotiate about some issues and then he would come. So Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua could be planning to meet outside the country. Not necessarily Rigathi Gachagua and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, but any other leader. Don't be surprised to hear that Gachagua and Ruto have met outside the country. Don't be surprised to hear that Rigathi Gachagua and some members of William Samoei Ruto inner circles are met outside the country. Maybe some, who knows, even some advanced parties would have gone. But as we know, Gachagua may find it very, very difficult to work with William Samoei Ruto. I'm not saying that he can work. In fact, I think that is the last option for Rigathi Gachagua. But in politics, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, anything is possible. Never rule out anything. Because when I look at what is happening in our country today, Gachagua, maybe because of what is happening, and he's also a businessman, as I've said, the country can easily go to the dogs. And if you look at William Samoei Ruto is now desperate. When you look at the way he's talking, when he's telling leaders to when he's telling Kenyans that those who invade police station should be shot on their legs, then these are desperate moves, ladies and gentlemen. And again, Gachagua can take that trip maybe to mobilize the international community to come and rescue Kenya. Because you see, he can also be actually take that moment to convince the international community that William Samoei Ruto and his government need to be taken to ICC. Kwa sababu hiyo safari sio safari ya kawaida, ni safari ambayo ina malego fulani. Je, atayatimiza? What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? That is my take. I could be right. I could be wrong. Most of the time, we are right. Bye-bye.